Hello friends, in this video I'm gonna discuss the first phylum of animal kingdom, that is Porifera. These are the precise notes of all the main points given in the NCERT and some additional points which will be discussed in the NEET exam. So starting with the topic, that is Porifera. Porifera are also known as the sponges. They have the cellular level of the differentiation. Most of them are marine water organisms, that is, they are colonial in nature. But the spongula is an example which is a freshwater porifera. That is, so it implies that most of them are marine water except spongula. They are diploblastic animals. That is, the number of the germ layers present in them are di. That is, two germ layers are present. One is ectoderm and the other is endoderm. The cavity of the porifera or the sponges are known as the spongocoel. Coel means cavity. Spongocoel is the cavity of the sponges, or this spongocoel is also known as the paragastric cavity. Mainly, there are the three layers. There are the three germ layers in complex organisms. One is ectoderm, other is the mesoderm, and then is the endoderm. Ectoderm is the outermost layer, and the endoderm is the innermost layer. The layer between the outermost layer and the innermost layer is the mesoderm. One is ecto, one is meso, and one is the endo in complex organisms. But in porifers, you'll only get two types of germ layers. So they are known as the diploblastic animals. This is the simplified diagram of the porifers. The opening of the cavity is also known as the osculum. They have a radial canal. One is the excurrent canal, prospile, dermal this is the dermal ostria, this is the incurrent canal, this is the excurrent canal which has the outer extensions. This is not so important regarding the competitive point of view, and this is never discussed in any exam, but still for the sake we should know, it has the mouth known as the osculum. The simplified diagram, which we can easily memorize, is they have a mouth called the exculent aperture, also known as the osculum, and have the dermal ostia, that is inhalent apertures in between the body of the sponge. These are the aperture. These are the kind of the apertures. These are the inhalent apertures, and this is the exculent aperture. The exculent aperture is known as the osculum, and the inhalent aperture is known as the dermal ostia. As we have discussed, it has two layers. One is the outer layer and one is the inner layer. That is, they are the diploblastic animals, so their body wall is made up of two layers. Okay, one is the outer dermal layer called the ectoderm, and other is the inner layer known as the endoderm. The outer layer is the dermal layer. The inner layer is the conocytic layer. Outer layer has two types of cells. One are the pinacocytes. They are flat in the shape, and the other are porocytes. They are oval in the shape. Porocytes means pores. Pores are usually oval in shape. And the inner layer is conocytic layer. That is, they have the cell named conocytes. These are the flagellated cells. Conocytes are the flagellated cells, which is a very important MCQ. They line the gastric cavity. Conocytes line the gastric cavity of the sponges. The characteristic cells of the porifers are the conocytes, which are also known as the collar cells. Between these two layers, a mesenchyme or mesoglia is present, which is made up of cells known as the amoebocytes. Also, spongin fibers are present in it. The skeleton of it is made up of spicules and the spongin fibers. Spicules and the spongin fibers, which is also a very important MCQ regarding the NEET point of view. So we discussed the body wall is made up of two type of layers. One is the outer layer and the other one is the inner layer. The outer layer has the two type of cells. One are the pinacocytes and other are the porocytes. Pinacocytes are flat in shape, porocytes are oval in shape. And the inner layer has only one type of cells, that are the conocytes, which are also known as the collar cells. These collar cells are the flagellated cells, that is, they have the flagella on their body. Now, an additional layer is also present sometimes. Between these two layers, a mesenchyme or mesoglia is present. Mesenchyme, I told you earlier, mesoderm is the inner layer between the outermost layer and the innermost layer, which is made up of amoebocytes in case of sponges. Skeleton of it is made up of spicules and the spongin fibers. Now, the next very important point is that their symmetry. Mostly the porifers are asymmetrical. That is, they have no proper symmetry except the leucoslenia. Leucoslenia is an organism which is classified under the sponges, which has radial symmetry. They have intracellular digestion, that is, the digestion occurs intracellularly. They are having a monotelic mode of excretion, that is, their waste product which they excrete is ammonia. A monotelic means ammonia. Then they have no gonads or no gonadoducts. Gonads are the reproductive organs. So the reproductive organs are absent in case of sponges. Now, next point is, if the gonads are absent, so the fertilization can occur by both ways, whether it is external or internal. The larva may be amphiblastula, that is half ciliated. Amphiblastula means half ciliated. Their half body is having cilia and the other half is having no cilia. They have no nerve cells in their body. Porifers. Porifers are further classified into three types. One is the calcarea, other is the hexaclitinidia, next is the demospongia. The calcarea, they survive in the coastal water of the sea. They have the calcareous spicules. The name itself implies calcarea. The name itself implies that they have the calcareous spicules, which are made up of calcium carbonate. They have large conocytes. The collar cells or the conocytes are present in the large shapes. The examples of them are leucosolenia, Sycon, which is also known as Skypha, which is an example from the NCERT. Then the other is Grantia. The examples discussed in this video lecture are very important regarding the competitive point of view, or you can say NEET. Most of the important examples are discussed in the NCERT, but beyond that, some examples are also asked in the NEET exam, which are not discussed in the NCERT. So we have to study that too, but we have to focus more on the NCERT examples, except that which are discussed in the reference books. Next example is the next classification is the hexaclitinidia. They are the deep sea water kind of organisms which are found in the deep water of the sea. They have the silicaceous spicules, that is, The spicules are made up of the silica. There are 6 red organisms, that is the silicaceous spicules are forming rays in the direction of the 6. They have small conocyte cells. The examples are Euplectella and Helonema. Euplectella and Helonema. The other classification is Demospongiae. They are found in the sea as well as the fresh water. They have spongin fibers which may have silicaceous spicules or may not have. They have the spongin fibers which may or may not have silicaceous spicules. They have small type of conocytes. Examples are Spongilla and Euspongia. The Spongilla is an example of NCERT. Next, coming to some very important MCQs, which are mostly the examples discussed in the NCERT. So, the three very important examples of the porifers that are discussed in the NEET examination are: one is the Venus flower basket, that is Euplectella. Euplectella is also known as the Venus flower basket. Halonema, which is known as the glass rope sponge. Then is the Euspongia, which is known as the bath sponge. So here we are done with one phylum, that is Porifera. So these are all the important notes which are given in the NCERT, and I have made the precise notes in the form of the flow charts, including all the examples which are given in the NCERT as well as the MCQs which are discussed in the NEET exam. If you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more updates.